All right, let's talk about something real, a problem that pretty much every successful React team hits at some point, that slow, creeping chaos that just takes over a big code base.
You know the feeling, right? You start a new project, and everything's fast, clean, just zipping along, and then boom, 6 months in, and just adding one tiny feature feels like you're wading through concrete. Well, you're not alone. And here's the secret. It's not about bad developers. It's kind of baked into the nature of React itself.
And this quote from the source material it nails it. React doesn't fall apart because it's a bad tool. Of course not. It's amazing. It falls apart because it doesn't come with a set of instructions. And guess what? That means we have to be the ones to provide that structure. This gets us to the heart of the problem, what you might call the cost of freedom. See, React is designed to be unopinionated. It gives you these incredible, powerful tools to build a UI. But for everything else, the app structure, the business logic, the rules of the road, that's all on you.
The best way to think about it is like this. React hands you a palette of the best bricks money can buy. You know, the component model, the hook system, but it doesn't give you the blueprint for the skyscraper you're supposed to be building. So a new developer joins and they build a room their way. Another developer joins and builds a different room a totally different way. Pretty soon, you don't have a skyscraper, you have a sprawling, chaotic mess.
And oh man, the symptoms. I bet this sounds familiar. You've got the same logic copied and pasted in 3 different places. The new hire has to learn 5. Literally 5 different ways the team fetches data. Tooling is all over the place. Onboarding takes forever, and your team's velocity just dies. You end up spending all your time fighting the architecture instead of shipping cool stuff.
So what's the fix? How do you get out of this mess? Well, the big aha moment is realizing you have to build your own opinionated framework right on top of React. Now hold on, I'm not talking about some giant, rigid, complicated thing. I'm talking about a set of clear, shared rules that everyone on the team agrees to follow.
An opinionated architecture, that is the missing blueprint. It's a shared mental model for the whole team. It gives you straight answers to simple questions like, where does this code go? How does data move around? How should we reuse this? It all comes down to one word, predictability. And that predictability is the secret to scaling without slowing down. Okay, so let's get into the nitty-gritty. The source material for this lays out a really fantastic, clear blueprint. It's built on 2 big concepts and 4 very distinct layers. Let's break down how it all works.
So, at the very highest level, you split your code into 2 big buckets, domains and platforms. It's pretty simple. A domain is just a specific product. Think patient portal or telemedicine app. It's all the unique code for that one product. A platform, on the other hand, holds the really reusable stuff you share across products, like your authentication system or your core UI design system.
Now, let's zoom into one of those domains. Inside, you've got 4 layers. First up is the component layer. These are your pure, dumb UI elements. Their only job is to take in props, look pretty, and spit out events. That's it. Absolutely no business logic allowed here.
Next up, we have the service layer. Think of this as your data hub. It's the only place that talks to the backend. It's responsible for fetching data, managing the cache, with tools like React Query, and then handing out a nice, clean API of queries and mutations for the rest of the app to use. It's your official bridge to the server.
And that brings us to the most important layer, where all the real thinking happens. The module layer. This is the brain of your feature. It's the glue that connects those dumb UI components with the data from the services. It transforms data, handles user interactions. It contains all the business logic for a feature. If you're ever wondering where does the logic go, the answer is always the module layer.
And finally, we have the app layer. This is the final assembly line, the thing at the very top that puts everything together for the user. It handles routing, the main page layout, and decides, okay, for this URL, I'm going to render this module. And just like our component layer, it has 0 business logic of its own.
What's so cool about this setup is how it handles making code reusable. It's a natural evolution. A new component starts its life as a private little thing inside one module. Then, maybe another module in the same product needs it. Okay, cool. You promote it to a shared component within that domain. And only, and I mean only, when a completely different product needs it, do you extract it into a true platform library. This kills premature abstraction dead.
Okay, so we have this beautiful blueprint, but a blueprint is just a piece of paper if the builders decide to ignore it, right? A great architecture is pretty much useless if people don't follow the rules, and that's where tooling comes in.
We can actually make these architectural rules impossible to break. With a tool like Nox, you can literally write your rules as code. Check out this example. It's a simple rule that says a component is never ever allowed to import from a service. If a developer even tries to do it, their editor screams at them. The linter catches it instantly. It's like having an automated architectural guardian watching your codebase 24/7.
This kind of structure unlocks another massive win, intelligent tooling. Because the tool can understand your dependency graph, when you change one little thing in a shared service, a command like nx-affected knows exactly which parts of the app could possibly be broken. So it only runs the tests for those specific parts, saving you countless hours of waiting on your CI pipeline.
So after all this work, setting up layers, defining rules, what's the ultimate payoff? It's way more than just having clean code. It fundamentally changes how your team operates, and it gets you ready for the future of building software.
Well, first, you get developer mobility. An engineer can jump from the telemedicine project to the patient portal project and be productive on day one because the patterns are exactly the same. Productivity skyrockets because you're building features, not debating architecture. And crucially, your codebase becomes machine readable, which unlocks a whole new world of automation. And that right there, that is the key insight for the future. These architectural rules we're creating, they aren't just for our human colleagues anymore. They're for the machines. They're for our tools, our scripts, and yeah, our AI assistants. Your consistent structure basically becomes an API for your AI. When an AI tool knows with 100% certainty that business logic only lives in modules, it can perform safe, large-scale refactors. It can generate brand new code that actually fits your conventions. Without these rules, AI tools are just guessing. With them, they become a super-powered teammate.
So I'll leave you with this one final thought. We're moving into this new era of AI-assisted development. So the question we have to ask isn't just, is my code maintainable for humans? The real question is my code structured enough to be an effective API for my AI tools? Because how you answer that is going to define the speed and scalability of your team for years to come. Thanks for watching.